Figure eight talk, extremely important. Muskies by the side of the boat, especially in some cases like up in Canada, 50% of your fish will come by the side of the boat. You want to know how to do properly and practice properly circles and eights with every different lure type, and that's the key that I want to talk about today, because the lure types are all different in the way they perform, and it's important to practice, especially when you got a new lure, maybe you haven't tried it a whole lot. But different leads with different lures, and by leads I mean the distance between the rod tip and the lure, are going to perform differently, and then certain speeds. So you just want to practice all the stuff. Now the spinners are pretty simple. I've talked about this quite a bit. Basically you got to keep the blades going. Generally with spinners, real short is good. You can go basically right up to the leader. Those blades have got to be spinning all the time. You will find that it's generally easier with a real short line with something like this Sound Science bucktail. Blades got to go. Speed, generally going faster, is how you're going to get those fish to trigger. But now you step up to different lures, and like I say, they're all different. Crankbaits, jerkbaits, this, that, and the other. But here's I kind of like the name of this one, Livingston Squeaky Pete. It squeaks, makes a little noise, but this style of lure, and anytime you got a bigger lip like this, these are examples of lures that you really gotta test before you have that great big fish come up to the side of the boat and get all excited. In general, you're gonna want a fairly short lead here too with this style of crankbait, but again, they're all a little different. So rather than, just going into it and not trying it all, if you can see what this lure is doing with speed, that kind of lure you see up there where it almost came out of the water, right there, that's what you really want to learn to control. And what you do then is you try different leads, different distances between that rod tip and that lure, and different speeds, and see what you can do, see how the lure works best. The other real important thing is with different leads and the speed that you can do practicing it, because you don't want that lure to blow out at the exactly wrong time. And that's when, of course, a great big fish is down there. So learn the limitations, okay, where you're at as far as length and speed, so you don't make a mistake when you're really excited and have a little blowout like that. You see that right there where I cut that corner real tight? That's the kind of thing you want to avoid. That's what you want to pay attention to and watch for, so that you're doing the big circles with the right lead, so you don't have a problem and you hopefully trigger that fish. Now, this particular bait here is, believe it or not, called Rachel, a Livingston lure, but it's a deep diving lure. So, and these are general rules, but again, back to practicing. As a general rule with a deep diving lure, you're going to be able to leave more line out. You'll actually get a better figure eight. This particular bait I twitch quite a bit on the way in, but I find that longer line distance, you'll see, and again, just practice. And of course with these big, not big, but deep diving lures, a lot of times, if you have a fish come in real deep, you want to get down real deep. Go right to that fish. Maybe change the depth back up, but again, generally a longer lead on a deep diver like this, I would say that in general, that's about the right amount of line, but you want to test it for every lure you're going to be using.